The other day, I was scrolling on Instagram when I came across this guy. See, real estate is a closed-door industry. Like, everyone gatekeeps everything.
We're taking a very different approach. We are documenting and sharing everything, and most don't do that.
So when I see a 25-year-old building $50 million of real estate projects in downtown Kansas City and literally documenting it all on social media, I knew I had to find out who he was.
We had 30 days to go raise $2.5 million, and we just hit the pavement.
Today, I'm facing Zach Molzer, founder of Molzer Development, a real estate company currently landing and working on multi-million-dollar projects.
But when I called Max and Hunter and said, hey, this is the project I think we should do together, they were like, all right, that's pretty big. I was like, I know. I was like, but it works.
And at the same time, breaking the internet, sharing authentic videos while gaining hundreds of thousands of followers in one of the most boring industries ever.
That's why I say social media has changed my life in every way, shape, or form.
Today, we're going to find out how he started with little experience and connections and still became one of the youngest real estate mogul with $0. It's really interesting to be on set in the live construction of this development.
I'm hoping that the background stuff looks cool because we're up here at the Aladdin in the ballroom that we're restoring. You should have seen this this spot right here 2 years ago when we bought it. It was flower carpet. There was a drop ceiling. It was so sad.
It's crazy. I've seen some of the progress of this place in itself through your videos.
Yeah,
I'm sure other people have.
It's so cool. Just being here though, it's just awesome. And I think that we're 8 weeks away from it being done is absolutely surreal.
So 8 weeks from now, you think this thing might be done?
No, it will be.
It will be.
I don't think things.
Because I've had to do some minor construction projects myself, and I know every time when you have a timeline, it's always getting pushed back with permits. And
we're on time and on budget on both of our projects that we
Wow.
have going on right now.
That's really impressive.
The Holtman building opens up in 4 weeks from yesterday, and then this opens up in about 8 weeks.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to know how you even got on this path at this age and took on this big of a risk. How did you know that this was what you wanted to commit to?
This specific building and project, or just development in general?
I would say taking on these big development projects with your team.
Like the Aladdin, it was just right place, right time. I wasn't planning on jumping ship and, starting with a project of this size. But, most people at the end of their lives, they have regrets, which are very normal. But most people's regrets that they have are not things that they did and which they didn't do. It's things that they didn't do and which they did. And so when I looked at this project, I go, gosh, this is kind of stupid, but why not? Why not us? So, we just figured it out. And it's changed my life completely.
Was there something that you saw or a person you talked to that gave you a vision to realize that there was an opportunity like this that you...
When I first came across this building, I knew that what the downtown Kansas City could be, what it was, the path it was already headed on, what the surrounding development projects that were going on, and that this building needed a new life. Again, obviously price plays into it. Being able to go out and raise funds, all that, having a good vision, and more importantly, a really good team. But it honestly just fell right in my lap, and it's worked out pretty well so far.
So when I'm looking at real estate opportunities, I'm usually scrolling on Zillow, looking at all these new properties that come up or talking to my friends that might know some off-market deals. But you saw this multi-million-dollar project first. How did you even find this opportunity? And then what made you want to go for something this big instead of, flipping a house for a couple $100,000?
Yeah. So I actually had an architect buddy that said, hey, Zach, I know you're jumping ship and you're going to start your own firm. You should go look at this building, that is for sale, kind of off market here in Kansas City. And I said, okay, cool. So I remember we first walked it and I was like, yeah, it would be pretty cool. And from there, another 4 or 5 months or so of just doing due diligence, diving in, and before we put it under contract and eventually closed, and then the whole 9 yards from there.
Wow. And so you've told me in the past that you have partners too.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that you or some of your partners might have took more of the lead on the project, or was it pretty equal?
Divide and conquer everything. We're all going towards the common goal. Everybody has their own specialty and expertise and stuff. Max is more on the historic tax credit side. Hunter's more asset management. I'm more the ringleader of, herding cats every single day on all of it, especially on the construction side. But yeah, everybody has their own role in place, and we're all fighting for the common goal to get this thing done and open.
Before you even found this opportunity, what were you doing before this with your experience that led you here?
Yeah, so I went to University of Nebraska for college, had a management degree in planning. I then worked for a development firm down in Tulsa for a couple of years. Learned a lot, did everything from asset management. We self-GC'd, self-operated. So I was putting together the capital stacks, raising funds, all that fun stuff. Finally got to the point where I didn't like not being able to make the decisions and do things. So I left, started Molzer Development in February of 2024. Aladdin, we put under contract in March of 24. We closed on the building May 31st of 2024. And right now it's May of 26. Yeah.
So you were pretty much on this like corporate path after college.
Yeah. You either get your golden handcuffs and stay in them, or you
Yeah.
go and leave. And so my thought was there was no time like the present to take a risk. I didn't have yes, I have a family, but like I don't have a wife, I don't have kids.
Yeah.
If I failed, then I can just go back and live everybody else's reality of working a 9 to 5.
This kind of makes me think, have you ever heard of Trump's story in real estate? How
Yeah.
the one where he had to make that decision where his buddy ended up taking on that smaller project and he took on that. Has that inspired you knowing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely someone that, looking like the start of my career versus like the start of his, it's definitely interesting, and it's a cool kind of comparison. But like my favorite quote is Roy McIlroy. He just got done winning his second major when he was 24. And the reporter asked him, he said, "Roy, how does it feel to be the next Tiger Woods?" He said, "I don't want to be the next Tiger Woods. I want to be the first Roy McIlroy." And so that's exactly what we're doing here, challenging the status quo.
Yeah, I love that. People have asked me too, like, you're going to be the next this or that, the next
No, I'm going to
Elon
be the
Musk.
first.
That's how I respond to that. I like that. So coming through Kansas City, I've noticed a lot of older architecture, kind of similar to how when you're in New York. I feel like I've seen that in Kansas that I haven't seen in a lot of other cities. I'm curious if you know why this place is like that. And it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of new development. There is for sure, but I think a city like New York, for example, has way more new development than this place does.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City was the gateway to the West. I mean, we were the last stop along the train. So all the cattle, everything had to go through here. All the trains. We were a logistics hub, and I think we need to get back to that. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But all the architecture here. So Pendergast was one of the main guys here in Kansas City. He owned a concrete company. And so pretty much any building that was built between 1929 and the 40s was used from Pendergast and all of his concrete company. And it was kind of a monopoly where it was, hey, because he was also tied into the local politics and the mob and all that fun stuff. So if you wanted to build a building, you were using concrete. Well, if you're using concrete, you might as well use all these other beautiful materials, brick, etc. So buildings like the Power and Light Building, Hotel Kansas City, it wasn't Hotel Kansas City, it was Kansas City Club back in the day, but the Bryant Building, I mean, all these different beautiful architecture was all, in a way, kind of curated by the mob in a sense, because you had to. You couldn't build.
Is that still going on to this day, or is it?
Not that I'm aware of. If it is, then I'm not involved.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's so much history here in Kansas City, which is just awesome. I mean, even talking about this from being in this ballroom, like Mickey Mantle used to stay here, Greta Garbo, Al Capone, Duke Ellington and Count Basie used to play in the basement at the Zebra Room and the Speakeasy. Like, there's the bones of here are absolutely insane. And the fact that we're sitting in a room that's 101 years old. And in 8 weeks or so, we're going to open it up and have tons of different residents living here and moving in here, and for them to be able to have their own stories and create their own memories. It's absolutely crazy. Who's going to be the next Mickey Mantle? Maybe they stay here at the Aladdin. 100 years after I'm dead.
Yeah, maybe you'll have Kirk McKinney stay here.
Yeah,
someday.
I love it. Heck yeah. Republican National Convention was hosted here. Like, there's just so many random things that happen at the Aladdin. That it's just awesome.
It is crazy to think that in 8 weeks, what we see here is going to be a place where there's actually people staying. That's very quick too.
Correct.
So it seems like you're moving very quick on this project.
Both of our projects have been moving at record pace, but
would
with still attention to detail, obviously.
What would you say is your secret to the speed that you're moving at?
I think a couple things. One, the right team. So the right development team, the right partners, architect, contractor. The biggest aspect on a project of speed is your superintendent, your project manager. We're blessed to have both on this side of the Aladdin, having Ruben, Tate, Mark, and Ryan absolutely crush it, making sure everyone's staying on top of things, especially when there's 80 people inside of a building every day, all different trades, a lot of moving parts. Same thing over at the Holtman building with JD. He is not real. He's unbelievable. We'll go over to that project later, and I think it's absolutely crazy how that one's come together. I think the other aspect of it is having a development team. Like, this might sound selfish, but like having a development team that's on site almost every day, the ability to answer those questions and make quick decisions and not think about it. Like, hey, Zach, we need to do this, like this wall right here. What are your thoughts? Do it. Fine, go. You don't have to wait for an answer for 1 week or 2 weeks. because 1 week of waiting on an answer, that's still another week out for maybe getting the shipment and all this stuff. It's all supply chain. Not necessarily supply chain from a material standpoint, but it's also a supply chain from a labor standpoint. And so being able to act quick, make those decisions, and move on the fly, have that adaptability is huge. So I think by us being on site a lot, that's helped a ton. I mean, immensely.
That is something I've noticed with a lot of the bigger corporate companies is there's all these hoops you have to jump through to get decisions made.
Correct.
And communication.
Like, hey, let me go talk to this guy who then, there's so many different layers of, like, depending on what level of question or problem you have to solve, there's so many different people you have to go to. So by the time you actually get to the guy that can make the decision, it's already been a week. Well, you just lost a week. That's the beautiful part about, like, me being here. It's Zach makes the decisions.
So knowing, like, all these other big development companies that are out there versus you guys, walk me through, like, the difference in your culture, your team, and how you have this thing structured versus these other guys that might allow you to move quicker or have this advantage.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not
do.
bound by old methodologies. Being young is our greatest strength. I think the biggest thing that we have to our advantage right now is youth, and by youth, there's a couple routes to that. One, just overall creativity. We can be very creative with our projects, whether that be creatively structuring the capital stack, whether that be finding different uses for these buildings, finding good different tenants, knowing exactly what unit layouts would work, what residents want from an amenity standpoint. So that's one. Also, what's the word I'm looking for? Agileness. Again, just youthfulness of, I don't need 7 hours of sleep every night. I'm content. It's not completely healthy to do this forever, but I move. I'm moving and shaking. I have so much energy built up, and so much excitement. Other developers and other people, like the corporate sense, they have a wife, they have kids. They're older. They're not burned out. They're it's just different. Versus our team, it's me. I'm 25. Colin, my vice president of development, is 22, and our social media marketing gal is 24. I have a video editor who's 21, and then I have a VA who's 20 something. So it's literally a group of 20-year-olds. And then my partners from Chicago, Max and Hunter, they're 26. So it's just a lot of energy, a lot of good youthful vibes. Again, just being able to stay on top of things. And when someone needs something done, we immediately get it done. There's no point in waiting.
Yeah.
You can just do things.
How do some of these big dogs in the space see you and this group of 20-year-olds that are now getting into these massive development projects?
I don't know per se. I mean, I obviously hear through the winds of life and what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that we're taking Kansas City by storm, which is awesome. I mean, we're literally everywhere. You can't miss us. I mean, from our social media to the local news presence, all the PR, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, I can't walk on the street without someone coming up and saying something. Like, it's not possible.
Is that true? Like,
Yeah,
you really get that much public recognition?
So much. It's crazy. It's
Wow.
absolutely insane. And it's cool. It speaks to the brand. So
Yeah.
I think I can imagine, I don't know this for a fact, but I imagine there's definitely some local developers that think we're stupid and that we're insane, because we're taking a very different approach. We are documenting and sharing everything, and most don't do that. And so,
Is there a downside to documenting everything the way you do?
I don't know. Not yet.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Do you think there's something that a lot of people would be worried about that might be...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's things I can't talk about online, not because it's bad. It's just a gray area. Especially with the historic tax rates, there's just things that you just can't talk about.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're pretty open. I mean, people know exactly how much money we raised, what the capital stack looks like with this project,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff. I'm not going to go into detail on how much exactly it costs to do X, Y, and Z of a breakdown, because that part of that's my competitive advantage on pricing and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's two things that they really need to be on board for you to be able to build in public, but maybe three. One, in your internal systems, your internal team, you have to be willing to be on camera. You have to be willing to talk. You have to be willing to do all those things, right? And have the time commitment to do so. I'm fortunate where I was smart enough to build out a team that did it right from the get-go. So it was never just me. Unlike most of the other, business creators and stuff that are on, Instagram and stuff, it is just them. I've always had a whole team that's done it for me. Because at the end of the day, I'm a developer. I don't have time to, film and edit and do all that fun stuff. The next thing is your investors and your lenders. If your investors that are giving you money are okay with you sharing and documenting the story online, then great. I will never talk about their names. I will talk high level how much money we've raised from them, but I won't say their names because they don't want that. But they love the fact that we're building in public, because that has led to unbelievable opportunities, whether that be projects, more investors, deal flow, consulting, I mean, the whole 9 yards. And so they believe by us building in public and sharing our story online, they as investors are going to have access to better deals, because we could come across deals that most people don't. And then lastly is the lenders. The lenders also have to be okay with it. The people loaning you money, and they both of our lender partners on both these projects have been great.
So, what are some of the biggest benefits that have come from you building in public versus just building the project as it is?
Yeah, I mean, brand partnership stuff is all cool and stuff, but that's not like the real meat and potatoes. I think the biggest thing is the city support. By city, also community support. Walking into a neighborhood association meeting where, people don't like developers. They think that we're just bad people, tearing things down.
Yeah.
We've walked into a handful of neighborhood meetings where they're like, "Wait, you're the Zach guy?" I was like, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, okay. I didn't know you're doing this project." I go, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay, I'm going to keep my pitchfork. I was going to poke you with it. I'll set it down and I'll listen to you at least. Like that's cool. Being able to fast track things when issues and stuff come up, needing variances. Being able to just text Mayor Q or City Manager Mario. When we have a problem and we need something figured out. The access to those people have been amazing because at the end of the day, we're bringing so many eyeballs, not just on our projects, but Kansas City in general. We are the biggest hype man for Kansas City by far. We're one of the most followed people in Kansas City. And so having that local presence is great for the city and for everybody involved, for the community. I mean, again, the whole 9 yards. So that's definitely one route. Also, our access to talent. It's a delayed gratification thing. It doesn't matter as much right now because again, we're still growing. But our access to talent is absolutely insane. Example being, we sent out like an application thing for internships, people that wanted to apply for internships. And we got 50 plus. And we really only needed one intern. And going through all those videos, I was like, maybe we need 5. Like these people are solid. So that's going to be great as we continue to grow and expand our team. Our access to good quality people, we can be really picky. And that's a problem nowadays of finding quality talent that is motivated, has a passion, eagerness to learn, also adaptable, and overall just isn't a lazy bum. And that's hard to find nowadays. We don't surround ourselves with anybody that's like that. We got some dogs on our side. So that's been great. And then the workforce aspect as well. Every general contractor, subcontractor, architect, everybody in town wants to work with us. Every lender. We have lenders reaching out saying, we want to do a project with you guys because they see that where we're at right now and they know that we're going to continue to grow. Yeah. They want to get in, on the ground floor in a sense. So that, again, it's literally every single area of my life has changed because of it. Wow. But it's the combination of both. It's not like we could be building this building and doing this without social media 100% and nothing would change. Yeah. Like the results and stuff. But I think the combination of both is crazy. People are moving into this building. Like we'll be moving in this building because they follow us on social media. That is insane.
And have you noticed that there's specific leads that have come in for tenants specifically?
I bet 30% of the people that move into the Aladdin came from social media.
Wow. That's actually
incredible. That is a direct, and I can't wait to be able to share those numbers when we're done and we're stabilized, because I can then directly say social media made me X $1 million because that's, directly affects the bottom line of our property. And that's how our investors make money. That's how the lenders get their money back. And frankly, that's how eventually I get paid.
Yeah. People underestimate the indirect value. That
Correct.
Comes
it's
from...
all delayed gratification. It's not like, back to your point earlier, when we were talking off camera, it's not like get rich quick. It's like, there have been plenty of times where we have brands that reach out wanting to do a brand deal. And I'll give you an example, like a painting company here. They said, hey, we'll do this whole wall for you for free. We just want some shout outs. Well, most people would have said, let's say the value of that was $20,000. It was probably more than that, but let's say it was $20,000.
For the wall of the painting?
Yeah. So let's say it was $20,000 for them to paint this wall. Most people would say, I want $20,000 cash and we'll paint the wall, etc. But then we pay to paint the wall, do all that fun stuff, maybe get a discount. Yeah. I'd rather not spend the $20,000 or not get the $20,000, but have that be comped, because that lowers my total project cost, which if my total project cost is lower, my yield on cost is higher. That means I can get better debt. My returns go up. So if I can, we have a deal with our appliances, again, same thing. We got a very, very good discount on those. Wow. So our way of delayed gratification on brand deals and stuff is I would rather say, hey, I would rather have free or comped or heavily discounted goods or services rather than a check, because while a check is nice to have, if I take their free or again comp services up front, that in 2 or 3 years when I go get a loan against it, it's not $20,000, it's $200,000, $300,000.
If you were to just roughly estimate right now through all this bartering that you've done through leveraging your media, how much do you think you've brought in value just through the bartering alone?
couple 100,000 would be my guess.
And how
Again, I don't really know, but yeah, that'd
how
be a guess. I think the other cool part is that
wow.
what hasn't started yet is, we open up a bar at the Holtman, Bar Phoebe, in 4 weeks, June 4th, and then we open up a bar here, and then where we're at right now is event space.
Oh yeah.
Think about the other aspect of that is people are going to come to the bars, go spend money because they found us through social media. Again, that also directly affects bottom line and revenue,
Wow.
and being able to bring in funds from that. So like that will be another really cool way to track, in a sense, the true tangible things of what social media, the indirect ways that it's going to benefit us.
And so how long ago did you start posting on social media for
So our
this?
first post on social media was January of 2025.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So
January of
that wasn't
25.
too long ago.
Yeah. So about a year and a
And
half.
so since then, what is your monthly budget on your social media?
Probably somewhere in the range of like 8 to 9,000 a month would be my guess.
That's an insane ROI on your investment.
For sure. Yeah. But again, I mean, I spent that much money for a year and saw no results. But
On your
I knew it was
media?
going to work. Yeah, 100%. We
Yeah.
spent tons of money and also time and my time and energy and resources. And it then just worked and it's continuing to work. I mean, the coolest part is people don't realize, because Instagram doesn't do this, but like we have like 248,000 followers on Instagram. We have 400,000 on Facebook. We've got 50,000 on TikTok, 50,000 on YouTube, 20,000 on LinkedIn.
So if you went all that time without seeing any results, what is the
Most people would
thing?
quit. Yeah, they would just stop.
Yes. So then what drove you through all that time?
I knew it would work. I knew that at some point we just had to figure it out. Of like, I knew telling the story of the Aladdin and what we were building, and then eventually the Holtman building and just the story in general. I knew that was something that needed to be documented, needed to be shared, needed to be told, needed to be seen. It was just a matter of finding the right puzzle pieces to figure it out. Like if you go back and look at our old videos, like they were not perfect. It was you could tell both Annie and myself were both learning, like, how do I do this again?
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of people that had someone in-house running their social media on, making these short form videos. She was trying to tell my story through her eyes, in a sense, versus like Rajan or Yanni, they're scripting themselves, they're filming themselves, they're editing themselves.
Yeah.
They can obviously tell their own story pretty easily. So learning and educating, and both of us figuring that out, to tell someone else's story was difficult at first, and then now we've figured that out. We've mastered that. It's pretty solid.
I think an advantage you have there is that maybe in the beginning it didn't work out as well, but once you found that workflow with that person, now you can continue to be the person developing this, but have a team member by your side, where a lot of creators will end up doing everything themselves.
You have to learn to delegate. That's the biggest thing that it's one of the hardest parts about entrepreneurship and starting your own company is delegation, because unfortunately or fortunately, you as the owner or CEO, you will be able to do pretty much every task better than everybody else because you care more. You just do.
Yeah.
Because it's your balls on the line. It's your ass. Like you just care. But there's a good book about delegation, and it's if you can find someone that can do something 80% ish to the quality or speed in which you can do it, it's worth your time to delegate that. And so CEOs and founders often have a very hard time delegating tasks away from people because they don't want to lose control, and that's hard. So that was something I learned very early on, was you got to delegate it. And so like I spend maybe an hour a week filming. That's it. People think I just sit around doing TikToks all day. One maybe 2 days a week, depending on what site we're at. We'll knock out 4 or 5 videos. Done. Anna goes back, edits, scripts, and obviously a bunch of other fun things that we're doing along the way. But it's not an insane amount of my time. I would say I spend more time responding to the comments and DMs and out in like inbound leads and stuff than anything else.
You seem like incredibly locked in on this project, and your vision to some people would seem delusional.
Yeah,
as well.
a lot of my buddies, when I first bought this building, they're like, "You're stupid." They actually thought I was dumb, and I was like, "We'll see."
So then, where do you think that clarity for this project comes from for you?
You have to be delusionally confident. You have to be. For a project like this and any project, you have to have confidence in your ability to put together a team and to execute, and you have to have people that surround and trust you. I mean, that's the name of the game right there. We wouldn't be able to do this without our investors, without our lenders, everybody. We employ, in a sense, 100 plus people on this building every day. They got to go home to their wife and their kids and, feed their families. And so like that's a motivator. It's a motivator that, again, 122 people are going to move in this building, over the next couple of months, and have a chapter in their life to be able to create their memories, go through breakups, find love, lose love, have friendships, all that fun stuff. that's that's the motivator in itself. Also, just restoring these buildings, bringing them back to life. And this building was sat vacant for 4 years. It was crumbling. It was, vagrants were in here. It was hell. The first time we walked through, there was a trampoline sitting right where we're sitting right now. And so it's just that in of itself is enough motivator to want to keep pushing things forward. There are days that suck. Don't get me wrong, but we've yet to have a bad week.
How did you get through all those moments before seeing any results?
Development and anything in life, it's not get rich quick. It's gonna, I knew it was going to take time. What's crazy is like it's really not that long if you think about it. Like 2 years really isn't that long of a time. From when we bought the building to when we'll be done, that'll be right at 25 months.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's really fast actually. But I won't see $1 on this project for another probably 2 years. But yeah, the delayed gratification. Again, it's if people are driven and motivated by the money aspect, don't get in development. It's not there. If you're motivated by wealth and job creation and being able to, I mean, it's like we're playing real life Sim City. It's like we're playing Minecraft in real life. Monopoly. We actively get to change our city, and it's so surreal.
I grew up playing video games like Fortnite, Minecraft, and all those games, and then I started to realize that life is literally the same thing, and you can just look at it like it's a video game too.
It is.
And the same like feelings you go through in that game, you can just like face life with that same mindset, and it literally is just a game.
Life is a game, and I love it. The game is so fun.
Yeah,
the game is so fun. Like it's funny. Like I like getting punched in the face every day when there's a new problem because I can solve it.
Would you say that you're healthy or okay?
Yeah, no, I'm great. No, it's awesome. No, I'm extremely content. My mental health is in a good spot. I probably could use a little bit, get a little better on my physical health, but that we'll get there.
How many hours of sleep are you getting a night right now?
My Whoop says I'm getting about 6. It's not horrible. It could be better. There's some nights where it's worse. There's some nights where it's not.
Yeah.
Right now it's crunch time though. Like right now, these last 8 weeks of these 2 projects, that's like, I mean, it's everything. There's times in the middle of it where things are slower. Not as crazy, but right now it's go time. I mean, I'm sure people can tell. Look in my eyes right now. Like I'm not on a whole lot of sleep right now.
How many hours did you get last night?
4, maybe.
And
4.5.
You told me throughout my time being here so far, there's been a lot of fires that you've been putting out.
A lot of fires. Yesterday was a big fire day.
So what happened yesterday?
Had a meeting about the World Cup stuff. We're gonna Airbnb our units at the Holtman, and just the turnout of what I think people originally expected. We don't know for sure yet, but it's just not looking as promising. It's not bad. It doesn't hurt us. It's just more annoying. That was one fire. Let's see. There's another fire. We were working with a band that was going to do our live music for our opening, and they canceled, which that frustrated me, especially seeing we're like 4 weeks out. But all good. We'll find another one. Our elevator is getting delivered today at the Holtman. That's huge. But there was a cost associated with getting them here on time, which is insane. But so that was lovely to deal with over this past week. Evergy's been lovely to deal with. Getting our permanent power put in on this building. It's just there are things that are in your control and things that are out of your control. Most things development, unfortunately, that are a big deal, they're out of your control. And so we can do everything in our power to push the needle. Oh, liquor license. We're trying to get our permanent or certificate of occupancy over at the Holtman building, and the liquor license process just takes longer than it should here in Kansas City. So we're actively figuring out solutions or even temporary solutions for that right now.
People will buy liquor licenses for like hundreds of thousands or even upwards of $1 million, right? Like I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City, it's not quite like that. The biggest concern right now is we open up the building. We'll get TCO like May 28th. We're trying to open June 4th. Well, it takes 2 weeks to get a health inspector out there. Well, May 28th to June 4th is not 2 weeks, and we're opening June 4th. So trying to find, again, just even a temporary route to get it open, actively seeking solutions. So
also, from the time that you started this project till now, what would you say is one of the biggest mistakes or fires you've had to put out?
There haven't really been any like mistakes or fires. Like there's been so many fires, don't get me wrong. I think that the 2 most challenging parts of this project was first getting all the furniture out of here, which sounds mundane and easy.
So the removal process?
It was horrible.
Dude, you should have just called Junk Teens.
Dude, I could have. I'm telling you, it was. Well, I didn't want to pay for it because there was 193 hotel rooms worth of stuff in here. There were 300 plus mattresses, box frames, beds, desks, lamps, you name it, and we had to get it all out.
Yeah.
If we got it all out that route of like throwing it away, I would have spent $200,000-300,000 in labor and dumpsters.
Oh, so you didn't have to pay
no,
for it?
No.
What did you do?
I brought in some laborers and said, hey, you guys get this stuff out of here and you guys sell it, and whatever you guys sell the stuff for, it's yours.
Wow. So was it expensive furniture?
No, they eventually went bankrupt.
Oh,
Yeah,
so someone like took it on as an opportunity and ended up just not really making out with it, but you did.
I got the furniture out. Yeah,
Okay, well, yeah, because I know it's not easy to sell old stuff like that.
no,
So,
one man's loss is another man's gain. So that was not fun.
yeah.
That took 6 months longer than it should have. Um,
Mm,
and then the whole historic tax credit process is just very tedious. A lot of moving parts with it. But again,
hmm
we're here. We're good.
Okay.
But there really
So,
haven't been any like big problems. There was a issue with the neighboring property of having a generator in the alley, and we had to figure that out. That was another fun process.
yeah.
Negotiating the parking agreement with the city, that was a fun process. There were lots of moving parts and pieces, but there hasn't been a quote unquote problem. Because in my opinion,
Okay.
the word problem implies that there is not a solution.
Yeah.
So
hmm
there have been issues, but every issue we've found a solution for.
Is all this stress at the end of the day going to be worth it for you? Or do you
Oh,
feel like it
100%.
is?
And I don't like there. It's not stress. It's passion. It's you care. There's
Mm,
no such thing as stress if you don't care. Because otherwise, what are you stressed about?
yeah.
My general rule of thumb is if it's not going to affect me in 5 years, then just forget about it. Doesn't matter.
Okay. That's a really good rule to keep. So I'm curious, by the end of, let's say this building right here, the Aladdin, by the end of it, how much do you expect your team to walk away with and profit?
I mean, that's a tricky question because I mean, when it's done, nothing. Over the next 5, 10, 15 years, as we continue to hold it,
hmm
a good amount. I mean, 7 figures plus. Over that period of time. But
Do you have
first,
like
obviously,
a,
we're going to pay our investors back, pay our lenders back, all that
yeah.
fun stuff. There's a long period. There's a 5-year compliance period with the tax credits, so that's an interesting time to pay back cash flow.
hmm
We'll refinance after that. So again, it's all very delayed. But again, you don't get rich in real estate; you build wealth. And you keep
Yeah.
compounding and growing.
So I want to try to come like all the way down to earth here because I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering like how does a group of 20-year-olds take on these like 10 million plus
Yeah.
dollar projects without you guys didn't have that kind of money
No,
before you
hell
got
no.
into this,
No,
right?
not at all. I mean, yeah, other
Yeah.
people's money is the name of the game. You have to find people that trust you, believe in your vision. It's like for this building, it wasn't as hard as people think to raise money for this because at first, worst case scenario, our pitch to them was it's a covered land play. We need to raise the money. We're going to buy the building in cash. We're not going to put any debt on it. And we're going to convert it to apartments. We're going to do all this stuff. But there are a lot of things that we need to figure out and do before we can ever do that. And so we're going to spend as little money as possible to de-risk it getting to that point. Worst case scenario, if we come across a hurdle that can't be jumped through, we flip the building and we sell it for more than what we paid for it because it was
Oh,
clearly worth more than what we paid for it. And we had
okay.
offers double what we bought it for immediately after we bought it. So it was a covered land play. So that made
Oh.
investors feel a hell of a lot better about it. And then as time continued to go on, and we, let's say there was 10 hurdles to get through. After you get through one, okay, cool. You get through another one, all right, cool. By the time you get through your first 5 or 6 hurdles, now, all right, well, 7 and 8 are possible now only because we got through hoop 5. It kept de-risking the deal. So as we continue to raise money from people, because needing more as we continue to go through the pre-development before we got all the loans and everything. By the time we end up raising all the funds, we were getting ready to close on all of our tax credits, all of our loans, which is the riskiest part of a project like this, is the pre-development, not the construction aspect's risky as well, but it's not as risky as the upfront because there's so much due diligence that the tax credit investor with historic tax credits, what they do upfront, they do so much due diligence that's why there's not a ton of historic tax credit deals because it's a pain.
Yeah. Wait,
They have to they have to really, really work for someone to go and loan you $30 million.
Yeah.
And it's not just like they're trusting us, they're trusting the numbers, the area, the market, all of that
Mm.
fun stuff. And so by that point, it's lowered risk.
So then what gave you guys the advantage to buy this property and it was off market at the time? Like
This
where
building, almost every developer looked at from when it closed down in 2020 until we ended up buying it in 2024.
Mhm.
There's only really one thing that changed, and that was price. We
So
were able to buy this building for a very good number that no one else was able
and
to.
why was that number so good for you?
It would have been good for anyone.
But how come you discovered that when all these other people might not have seen it?
Because the building was under contract a handful of times at a much higher price, and then they fell through. Finally, the owner was just like, "I'm done. I don't want it anymore.
Mm,
Please, someone buy this and close." The guy was very wealthy. He's done a lot.
okay.
He was just done. And so, back to my point of like right place, right time. It seriously was
Yeah.
just, holy cow, here you go,
Yeah.
right place, right time,
And
and
so
ability to execute and speed.
and because it was at the right time, you saw that opportunity.
We jumped immediately.
Is that part of what made you almost delusional towards this thing? Because you're
Hell
like,
yeah,
how the hell am I ever gonna get an opportunity like this again?
bingo.
That makes sense
Yeah,
now. So when you saw that come up,
because like
did,
no 23-year-old in a reasonable mind would look at a 16-story building and say, oh yeah, this will be a good first project. Like, but when I
Yeah.
called Max and Hunter and said, hey, this is the project I think we should do together,
Yeah.
they were like, all right, I mean, that's pretty big. I was like, I know. I was like, but it works. And we went through it, and they basically were like, I remember talking with them about this in Chicago 2 weeks ago. I was like, tell me the origin story on your guys' part, like, because I never heard it. Like, when I first called you, what did you guys internally talk about? And Hunter was like, I honestly, I didn't know really anything about historic tax credit deals. He goes, I was leaning on Max, and Max kept telling me like, hey, Hunter, I think this thing can work. I think we should go partner with this kid. And they also had delusional confidence. You know, our trust that we had internally with each other is the only reason this project was possible. I mean, we put this building under contract together, and I hadn't even met these guys in person. I met Hunter and Max through Twitter like 4 years ago. Like, that's crazy. That's why I say social media has changed my life in every way, shape, or form.
And when you found this project at first, did you know, were you actively looking for an opportunity like this, or did it kind of just come up and you were curious and then realized that this was what was going to make you pull the trigger on this development company?
No, I mean, I had already left and started my own firm.
Okay.
I wasn't
was
looking for a project necessarily like this.
Yeah.
I was looking for a project to do.
Okay.
But this was just, I mean, when I left, it was maybe a week later that the fairy dust, got sprinkled down.
Walk me through the moment when you just discovered this property and it was so big, like bigger than what you originally expected to get into, and how that excitement drove you to be so delusional. Like, walk me through
I
that.
mean, when you walk in this building in general, you're like, wow, it's gorgeous. I mean, it didn't look like this when we first bought it.
Yeah.
We just knew that it had bones, it had potential, and knew what it could be. Again, everything is all back end. Everything, it has to math. That's the first thing. It's got to make money. So we thought
Yeah.
we thought our investment was going to be worth it in order for it to make money. And so very simple. And then from there, yes, then you can't be emotional about real estate. I am definitely emotional about the Aladdin now, which is pros and cons. But you can't be emotional. If someone wants to buy this building from me today, I have a number. I'd totally sell it.
So once you realized that the numbers made sense and this was like a golden opportunity for you, how did you then just go about finding investors and communicating this opportunity to them and for them to trust you too?
We had 30 days to go raise $2.5 million, and we just hit the pavement. A lot of our investors that are on this project are people that we met after we put the building under contract. The people that own, the contracting companies, the plumbers, things like that. That when we're walking through getting bids, we're like, hey, have you ever invested in commercial real estate? They're like, yeah, sometimes we do. And asking them, hey, here's what we're doing this project. We're buying this. We're doing this, yada, yada. And them loving our passion, loving our energy, and thinking, I know that these guys are going to make this work because it's do or die. You can't fail. If you fail on your first project, especially this size, especially building in public, all of that, you're screwed forever. You don't, we're going to mess up with something someday. The whole point of messing it up though is not, the whole goal is to just not lose anyone's money, but there's going to be mistakes that you make along the way, but you don't mess up your first and don't mess up your last. Is the most important part. So knowing that we were going to do literally anything in our power possible to make sure that this thing works, and have, again, delusional confidence that it will work, but also backing it up with, data that it does work as well. It's not like we were like, oh, let's buy this building and we think this works off a hunch, like, oh, my gut tells me it works. Like, no, it did pencil and like it mathed. But you still have to execute. You still had to get all those things. And so talking with all these different investors and people like that, and we have checks on this project. We have 32 investors, checks ranging from $25,000 up to $750,000.
Wow. Wait, so did you put this thing under contract before you raised money?
Yeah.
How's that even possible? If you don't have money, how can you get the building under contract?
We funded the earnest money internally between myself and Max and Hunter. We put up earnest money, but it was a nominal amount.
And how did you guys get that money? Was that just from what you had
Saved.
saved up?
Yeah.
Working at your jobs?
Correct.
And that's enough to be able to start getting a building like this in contract?
Yeah, I mean, we put 50,000 down.
Wow. And how much is this building worth?
We bought it for 2.5 million.
Oh, so 2.5 million, and 50,000 is enough to get this thing under contract?
It was.
Is that just because the owner wanted to move on it and he saw a group of young, hungry kids and was like, I'm just gonna go for it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I never knew that with that amount of money, you could get into a project this big. I've always just been looking on Zillow for like the houses to flip, but now, I mean, I'm dreaming a little bit bigger now after hearing this.
Well, the whole point, like my philosophy is that every project has brain damage and is all difficult, and you have to deal with the same shit. You have to still deal with an architect. You still have to deal with all the contractors. You have to deal with the city. You have to deal with all that. Might as well do something that has a couple more zeros at the end of it,
Yeah.
It's a different approach, though. Some people would rather do it with their own money and own 100% of it. I always tell people, like the Aladdin, I do not own the Aladdin. I have I own carried interest or promote upside in the back end of the Aladdin. I don't own the Aladdin. I make the decisions for the Aladdin with my partners, but we don't own the Aladdin. We control the Aladdin. We manage the Aladdin. We are the Aladdin, but we don't own the Aladdin. We have upside in the Aladdin.
So then for you at the end of the day, if you don't own it, then what is the value that comes out of it for you?
I mean, after it's done and it's stabilized, there's, your what's called your net operating income. Our appraisal puts a cap rate on it. We go to the lender, they refinance, we return investors' money back, and then from there, after their money's back in their pocket plus their return, then we then participate in the upside of the profits on the cash flow. And then same thing if and when we sell this.
And when the investors come in, well, like what percentage of the equity of this building do they own with that investment?
So the splits on this project, it's an 80-20 split over a 7 pref.
So are you the 80?
The investors are the 80.
You're the 20. Okay.
Correct.
And then once you pay them back, they still own 80%.
Correct, but then there's a GP catch up in there as well. So then there's another 20% profit share. So in a way, then it's kind of like a 60-40.
So like I'm coming into this conversation here knowing like nothing about real estate development. I think that's good for people watching because they probably are in similar shoes. But it's good to know like these terms.
It's like a high level, I would say a very high level is I probably own somewhere between 10 to 15% of the Aladdin would be my ballpark guess.
And like, so wait, so you ended up getting this thing for 2.5 mil, you said. By the time you're done with all these renovations and everything, what are you planning to refinance it?
We'll be all in for 38 million, but that number is kind of confusing because there's historic tax credits. There's $12.5 million of historic tax credits. So our technical economic cost is like 25 million. I bet it appraises somewhere in the $34 million range. So then we'll refinance, get a loan, 27. We should be able to pay off all of our investors back when we refinance all their money.
So what is the value of taking this old rundown building and putting 38 million to it to get 34 back when you could just go develop a brand new building somewhere?
Yeah. Spending 38 million to then the building be worth 34. People are like, wait, Zach, that loses money. Well, no. Again, technically speaking, we're in for 25 million because of the historic tax credits.
Okay.
And to 34, give or take. I think the value of the building, again, based off our accountant's projection stuff, is in like 25 years, it's worth like 65 million or something like that.
Okay.
I don't really know. You do the project, the cash flow is Godspeed, you hold on to it and you just wait. It's kind of hard to lose owning something for 30 plus years.
So with an old building like this, one of the advantages is that the city is willing to...
State and federal government, there's historic tax credits. Like a project like this would never work without historic tax credits. I mean, it makes up 30% of the capital stack. That helps the returns work, but also helps the developers be able to put the money needed in to save this building. I mean, we're all in for $320,000 a unit when our rents are $1,700 a month. That doesn't math whatsoever. It does when you take out the historic tax credit aspect.
So your competitive advantage with your development company is not going to a brand new development because those are a lot harder to pass through.
No, not necessarily. We'll break ground on 50 townhomes next year.
Okay.
We're working on a ground up site right now. This project is old and we use historic tax credits. Our other project is an old building. We did not use historic tax credits. Our third building that we just bought, we will use historic tax credits on. Our fourth project, the ground up in Overland Park, we will obviously not because it's ground up townhomes. We're working on another big one, but we're not going to talk about that.
So is a historic tax credit basically money that the federal government and city will give you when you're developing an old building like this?
Yes, not all of them, but yes. If it's on the registry, you can apply to put on the registry, all that fun stuff.
And could somebody do that with like a residential home as well?
Correct.
Did you know exactly how much you were going to get from those credits before you got into the project?
Pretty good idea, yeah.
Okay. So that's part of calculating the numbers.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's all starting to come together for me. But the one part that is kind of crazy though is like, why was this guy willing to sell it for 2.5 million if there was all this potential in it?
He was just done. He was older gentleman. He was just sick of it. And he has a lot of money. He was sick of other people not being able to actually buy it and like close on it. He wanted certainty of close, and we gave him certainty of close.
What did you tell him or show him that made him certain that you were going to close?
Non-refundable earnest money that was his if we walked away, regardless.
Okay, so that 50,000 was going to be his no matter what.
And then plus another 200,000 after 10 days.
Oh, okay. Wait, so was that 200,000 also your guys's as well?
No, we had to raise that.
So you basically put 50,000 in, and you locked yourself into a situation where in 10 days you had to raise another 200, or this thing was not going to go through.
Correct.
So you put that much pressure on yourself to make this deal happen.
Yeah.
Wow. And then in that moment, like what gave you the confidence that you guys were going to be able to raise that 200?
Do just do things. I mean, why not? There was not a single moment of doubt. Again, when you're in that position, you have blinders on. Like there's no other option. You know, failure is not an option. Like there was no thinking, okay, what if we don't do this? It was like, okay, great. Like, let's keep going. I mean, in those 10 days, we raised probably $1.5 million. So it wasn't, we
Wow.
never worried about it.
Hmm.
But I would say a normal person probably should have. And looking back, we definitely should have worried about it. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it was a sticky situation to be in.
Yeah, that's really, you guys are like so driven to make this all happen. And is it like, how is a group of 20-year-olds all together this driven? It doesn't sound like there's just one of you guys that's carrying the weight. Like
No,
it
it's
seems
all
like
of us.
all of you are. So like,
Yeah.
what makes all of you guys that like-minded in this extreme towards a project like this?
Passion, drive for wanting to be great, wanting to do something different, and change the game. There are more people out there like us than you think. I mean, look, you and I are sitting in this room together, and we have the same plans, same ideas. You know, we follow a bunch of other different creators and stuff online that are doing similar things and have that same passion, drive. But then you really put it in the microscope, and less than 1% of the population is an entrepreneur, and of that, 40-50% will fail. So
Yeah. And when you took this jump, how did you evaluate the risk? What was the worst possible situation that could have happened for you?
I evaluated the risk of my own happiness and the opportunity cost of not trying. That was, you can't put, I couldn't put a dollar on that. There's no dollar figure amount that I'll never work for someone ever again.
Hmm. And what makes you never want to work for someone ever again?
I like making the decisions.
So when you jumped into this, like in the very beginning, if the deal didn't go through, the worst situation would have been losing that 50,000. But then once you actually closed on the property, like if you never got this far, what was the worst situation after that? That all your investors would lose their money, or what
No, I mean, I
changed?
guess a worst case scenario is, again, because we had an offer to sell it for more than what we bought it for,
Okay.
that was a worst case in a sense, but that's not a worst case. I mean, that was still a good deal. We still made money on it.
Okay.
But wouldn't have done anything in a sense. Like we wouldn't have built anything then. Once we closed on the deal, there was no worst case for a little bit. And then the worst case then became, okay, now we have to go find people that will help sign on debt. Now we have to continue raising the money. We got to find someone that will buy our state historic tax credits. We got to buy someone that'll buy our federal historic tax credits. We have to find a bridge lender. We got to find a senior lender. Like we have to get a Port KC tax abatement. We have to get a parking agreement. There was all these different things where if one of those things got messed up along the way or didn't happen, then you're spending more and more money, and yeah, then it gets interesting. But again, I don't think any of us ever thought about like the what if of what could happen if it went south.
When this thing is all said and done and you're done building this building here,
Yep.
what is your real wealth play? Is it the appreciation? Is it the renters and some revenue you're going to bring in from
Yeah,
that?
it's the cash flow that of our splits that we'll make from the cash flow, the refinance, and then eventually selling it. But yeah, being able to leverage our ownership stake in it and use that against our net worth to go get loans for different projects and things like that.
Okay, so your track record with this project is going to set you up to do things even bigger afterwards.
Yes, I mean people assume that like, okay, Zach, his first project was 38 million. So that means when he's done, his next project is going to be more, and you're going to keep growing up the ladder that way. That's not how I look at it. Our second project, the Holtman, that's a $9 million project. The building we just bought, that's probably a $15 million project. Our townhomes is a $22 million project. So like, it's not like you're going to move up the ladder that way. It's just, we can do more now. We can, once this building is done and the Holtman are done, the track record and the doors that are already open right now they're wide open. Now there's a lot of doors open. If the doors are open right now, which they already are, I can't even fathom what they look like when this property is stabilized, complete. And then it's not just an idea. It's not Zach's building it. It's look what they did.
So you guys starting this project allowed you to go buy those other properties
Yes.
because of how far you'd got in the process. People see, okay, this is totally legit.
Correct.
How are you guys able to manage all these different projects at the same time?
Sheer willpower of, I mean, it's just fun. There's a lot of moving parts. I mean, being able to track things in spreadsheets and all that. I mean, there's a lot going on.
So-
But there's Max, there's Hunter, there's me, and there's Joe, and then I have Colin. So you divide and conquer, like I said earlier. Max handles the construction draws. I'm here on site, making sure that everything's kosher and at the OACs and all that fun stuff. The Holtman hodgepodge of everything, because that project's just us. We have no other partners on that one.
Do you have a construction crew on every project right now?
Mhm.
And how do you have that much talent, that many people doing construction? Is it all the same company? Are
Mm-mm.
they all
Yeah.
subcontractors?
So yeah, we bring on a general contractor that manages the actual construction aspect of it, and brings on the subs and all that fun stuff.
Okay, so you have one guy that's bringing on all the subs for these different properties.
Yes.
Okay. And have you seen like a quality difference in some of the crews, or is it all pretty
No, we've got good guys at both of our sites. We're
okay?
very blessed.
So knowing all that, I'm curious if the organization behind all of these projects, if AI is helping you with that and how.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helping. I mean, data tracking, logging information, being able to just put things. I mean, Claude is absolutely insane.
Mhm.
People that don't use Claude are stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a life changer.
When did you start using Claude?
We switched over from chat to Claude probably March, I guess. Maybe it was late February.
Yeah.
I was one of the holdbacks though. Colin was like, dude, you got to use Claude. I'm like, dude, I love chat. It knows me. He was like, you can plug this into chat, have it download your data and plug it into Claude, and so it knows you too. I was like, okay. And then I switched over. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
legit.
Mhm.
No, I mean, AI has helped us a ton. I think that goes back to one of the first questions you asked is, what is our competitive advantage?
Yeah.
How many other development firms that it's run by a 50-plus-year-old are using AI? I
Yeah.
promise you, not many.
The same way that you didn't want to switch from ChatGPT to Claude, imagine what a 50-year-old is going to be thinking of even starting with AI in the first
Correct.
place.
AI is really not that crazy right now. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what it will look like in a year.
It's
A
crazy.
year ago, like even chat was stupid.
Yeah.
Now it's like, holy cow, it knows me better than I know me. It's nuts. All these different AIs. Like, think about AI being the worst it possibly will ever be is right now.
Yeah.
AI is nuts, and so it's also scary. It's also could be the detriment to society as well. So
Yeah. Do you think that that will happen?
I think
Like-
it could. Yeah. Try not to be too pessimistic though.
Yeah.
Development's definitely made me a lot more pessimistic though. I
Mhm.
definitely used to be a lot a more optimistic person.
Do you think that if you weren't so young when you got into this project with that blind optimism that you might not have got into it?
No, I don't think that. I just think that dealing with the processes in general of like with the city and everything about development. I mean, it's all
Mhm.
people related, but
Yeah.
you just losing hope is not the right word because that sounds bad and that's not accurate. It's just
Yeah.
I've become a lot more pessimistic. Like
Mm.
people are stupid, mistakes get made, people don't care. Yeah, it's just I've just become more pessimistic. There's no hope in society.
What were some of the unexpected parts of building this thing that you didn't know or expect when you got into it?
It's a lot more political than people think. A project like this is very, very political.
Yeah.
Everything is political, but very political. I mean, I'm at City Hall at least once a week, dealing with council members, city staff, reviewers, permit reviewers, health department, all of that. And you got to know the right people. If you don't know the right people, then good luck. I don't know how some developers do it.
How did you know the right
You
people?
get in you get in the room,
Okay.
you get in the room, shake hands, and let it be known who you are. And again, that was also,
And how did
social
they
media helped that for sure.
how did they take you serious though?
Because they're not building shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they almost had to. Then like not many people know. The only people that like know my age is because we'll talk about it on social media. But like they would have no idea. Obviously, I look young, but they would have no idea, in a sense, that we're as young as we are because you go into the room confident and with all the facts. Know what you're talking about before you enter those rooms.
And have they seen your social media before you meet them a lot
Some
of
of them
time?
nowadays. I mean, now I can't. Again,
Yeah.
I can't go in a room without it. But yes,
Okay.
some of them,
That's something that you use as leverage to make these connections, the social media?
100%.
Yeah. Is that part of the indirect value that you see from it too?
Bingo.
Is getting people to take you serious because of that image? too?
Transparency, proof of concept, and you're there. You're showing them what you're building. You're showing everyone, look what is going on behind the scenes.
Mhm.
We call it the tape behind the tape. The film behind the construction tape.
So you're already doing projects this big. What are your real goals? Because it almost sounds like this is just you proving the concept of what your team is capable of. Like, what do you envision yourself doing in the next 5 years?
I think that it's very realistic to think that Molzer Development will be a $1 billion firm in the next 10 years. That is it's still insane, but it could happen.
Yeah.
We'll just continue to keep chugging along, making right decisions, being cautious, careful, but with growth mentality, and finding the right people and partners.
Is there a certain point that you would see yourself feeling like you made it? And
No, it's the game we talked about.
Yeah.
There's no The unfortunate part about this game is that there is no such thing as winning. There's no winning. There are losers, and the losers are people that aren't happy, the people that never feel content. Like there's a difference between never feeling content, but also never feeling satisfied. I don't ever feel satisfied per se in what we're doing because I want to be the best. But people that are content, it's just totally different. So like, there's no winning in this game.
So if you can't win, then what's the point of playing for
The,
you?
the point of playing is legacy. It's to have a beautiful life and have a wife and kids and be able to travel and do things, but also to be able to build the city, to be able to create housing, create jobs, create more third spaces, human interaction. I want the world to be a better place, and we need more people that actually care about the product and stuff that people are living in, that people are going to eat and dine and drink in, people are going to shop in. We need people that care about that, and without developers that have a passion, that actually care, then we're just going to continue building crap that won't be here in 20 years. And so the real drive for me is legacy. It's not money. Money obviously comes with legacy, but that's not why we're doing this.
And you mentioned like obviously the goal of having a family and everything. Would you say that you have a balanced life throughout building this too?
Right now, hell no. No
And
chance.
is that something that you envision a certain period of your life just not having that balance for, but evening out at a certain point?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the past 6 months have been definitely interesting as it pertains to my personal life, and a lot of different changes and stuff because of what I'm doing and building, and there's sacrifices that you have to make along the way. Sometimes you got to choose yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I want to settle down. I want to have a family, but I hate the word settle down because
Yeah.
I'm never going to settle down. We're always going to continue to be building and doing things along the way. So there's really no settling down. It's just finding the right person that you want to spend the rest of your life with and create your family and continue doing things. You got to find someone that wants you to win just as much as you want to win.
How do you see yourself finding that person too?
Naturally, just continue being a good person.
There's a quote I heard one time when I was trying to figure all of that out, and it was, if you build a beautiful garden, the butterflies will come.
Yep, exactly.
It's the premise of just building up yourself
Exactly.
in order to find the right person for you.
Exactly, 100%.
Do you see yourself being in a relationship throughout this extreme grind phase?
I mean, I was, not anymore. Life works in cool ways. And if that's what God's plan is, then that's what his plan is.
So do you have like a rule inside that while I'm working on this project and I'm making all these sacrifices, I'm not able to dedicate my time to a relationship? Do you have something like that?
If you find the right person, then, and that can mesh within your life too, then that's different.
Yeah.
The second where it's like they don't work together, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
It has to work and flow together. Both people have to be on the same page about expectations, goals, everything like that. So it's got to be together. It's a two-way ship.
And do you feel like there's a certain point in your life that you have to be enough of yourself in order to be in a relationship? Or
For sure. Again, like I said earlier, you gotta love yourself before you can love anybody else.
and how do you think someone would know that they're at that point where they love themselves?
Go out. I mean, I go out all the time and sit down and have dinner by myself. I love it. It's so much fun.
Dude, I do the same
I
thing.
love it. It's like one of my favorite things.
And it's weird because people think
I
that
don't have my
that's
phone. I
crazy.
sit there, I eat, and I people watch, and it's just like I just sit there sometimes and catch myself smiling. I'm just very content.
Would you say you've ever been lonely?
No.
I don't feel like I've had extreme times of loneliness. And there's a quote I heard one time that really made me never feel super lonely ever again. And it was, you'll never be alone if you enjoy being with the person you're alone with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will go out and hang out with their friends to not feel lonely, or spend time with people to not feel lonely. But the thing is, like, you need to be with yourself enough to know who you really are and be proud of that and build yourself up to enjoy being with yourself.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because a lot of people think that going and getting dinner by yourself is crazy,
I
but
love it.
me too. I love it too because I love myself. I love who I've built myself to be, and I see you're the same way.
For sure.
Yeah. And would you say that's an important part of having a successful relationship?
You don't necessarily have to be like similar, but you have to at least have some similar mindset of how you are as a person. Your growth mindset. Your emotional intelligence has to be there.
Yeah.
Love
And
each other.
how do you like separate work and your relationship, like dedicating certain time to those people, being fully present?
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a challenge, in my previous relationship of doing that. But at the end of the day, they can coexist if, again, both people are on the same page about what that is and the sacrifices that you're making early on in order to provide and do what you want to later. The journey's not always, it's not always fun, right? There's days that suck. There's things that I have to do every single day that, the sacrifices you have to make, time, commitment, all that fun stuff. But, if you got to have someone that understands the vision of like what you're doing and the why. If they don't get the why, then you'll never get the how.
What is your why?
I want to create a legacy. I want to change the world.
Yeah.
I'm not normal, and I get that. And so like I know that finding like peace, love, and happiness, and all that's going to be harder because I'm not normal whatsoever.
Were you ever like that growing up? Were you like the outsider in school or anything?
I mean, not really. I've always been very personable. I've always had tons of friends, things like that. So no, not really.
Okay. But when you say you're not normal, like, what does that
Most people
mean?
like they even people that want to be very successful, they're trying to be successful. They're not trying to be great. Like there are very few people, like if you think about in Kansas City, which I know you guys don't know, but like there are very few people, 100 years ago that we remember and that we talk about. I at least like to have myself have a chance to be in that discussion of one of those guys that helped change Kansas City.
And what's so important to you about that? Like being in those companies?
There's not that many people that I feel have the ability, the passion, desire, and all that to do so. I feel like I owe it to my family. I owe it to my friends. I owe it to my future wife, my kids. I owe it to society that if I have what I think the ability to go and do something great, I owe it to them and everyone to try to be the best.
When you say the best, does that just mean giving it your all, or is there also a certain level of moral intentions
Both.
with
Yeah,
that?
it's everything. It's giving something your all. It's no fear of failure. It's being the best version of yourself, being happy, providing for people, giving a lot, and doing great things.
With your foundation of morals, where would you say that comes from mainly?
I mean, I had a really great upbringing. I mean, my parents, they got divorced when I was like 2, but I've always had 2 sets of parents. They both got remarried before I was like 6. So I have a dad and a stepmom and a mom and a stepdad, an older sister, a little brother, and 2 step siblings. Like I'm just with a Brady Bunch. But I've always just had different perspectives on life and got to see life through 2 different sets of families. And it was awesome. I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm blessed to have good parents and people that, challenge me, but also believe in me, willing to do anything for me, but also push me to be better. Had a lot of really good mentors along the way and still do that challenge me to think bigger, to think better, and to do things the right way. That's the name of the game, is if you just show up and you do things the right way, you'll be just fine.
And how important have those mentors been throughout this process?
Huge. I mean, again, that goes back to the point earlier of like, it takes a village. It takes a very, very large village.
When you first got into this project, were you calling those people and asking them, how do I do this? Or is this a good opportunity? How have they actually helped you?
I'd say at first it was like, am I stupid? Like, am I dumb for doing this? And the answer was no. And I was like, swear, like, I was like, I trust you. They're like, no, you're not insane for thinking this.
Okay.
And so that was like the first level of reassurance, but never throughout the process would we call people and ask like, hey, I don't know how to do this, because that's just not how this world works. You just figure it out. If something comes across our desk, and I mean, daily there's things that are like, how do I do that? It's like, I don't know, let's go figure it out. You can't just wave your white flag and be like, I don't know how to do this. Oh no, here, lender, here are the keys back. Zach didn't know how to do that, so we're screwed. Like, no, you figure it out.
And these mentors, like, how do you know that these are the right mentors for you?
Because we're on the same page morally. We're on the same page, on in business, of people I look up to on the business side, the family side, and just all well-rounded person. Like Chris Hatch is one of my mentors, and he is genuinely just one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. And I would not be here without him.
Have they achieved kind of what you hope to achieve, and is that part of why they're your mentor with their careers too?
I love that they're having fun in their life, their careers, and in their family, and they, 100%. But they haven't achieved what they want to achieve either. But it's cool to look. Again, I surround myself with a lot of older people because that's just how it works. Like I'm constantly in rooms of 45 plus. I would say 90% of the time. Even my friends are all older. I'd say most of my friends are upper 20s or lower 30s.
How can a younger person get in those rooms and be respected and valued too?
If you don't bring any value to someone, first find a way to bring value to someone, because human beings are selfish, and if you can't provide value, then great, that's fine. Then be a sponge and listen. People also like to talk. People like to brag. Find ways to be a resource and help them. ways to get in the rooms. There are networking events. There are things everywhere. I got this advice from a mentor in college after I graduated. He said, "Don't be an alcoholic," but this is a route that I did. He said, "Find a local coffee shop and find a local bar." He goes, "But make sure it's nice, and find the spot where that the wealthy people and that the people that are successful, that they're going every morning and for happy hour. Go there every single morning and go there every single afternoon and just sit there by yourself. Have a tonic with a lime. You don't even have to drink, but you sit there and you then insert yourself into conversations. Every once in a while, like I went to Enjoy Pure Food for coffee, and I don't drink coffee, so I would just go there. I'd get a juice, and then I would go to Tavern in Mission Farms at like 4 p.m. Most days, like Wednesdays through Fridays, and I just sit at the bar and spark up conversations. Older people love talking with younger people, and so some of the conversations, like someone would drop the jacket and be like, "Hey, you dropped your jacket, sir. Hey, thanks, son. What are you doing here?" Honestly, I was just wanting to talk with you. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, "I'm seriously just sitting here, like, trying to find mentors and people that are successful in doing things." And their eyes always light up. They always go, "Huh." Even if they're meeting with someone, they're like, "Well, hey, meet my buddy. This is blah, blah." They find out more about them. And then you get their phone number, and eventually you follow up. You get their birthday, you write that down, and every year you text them, "Hey, it's Zach. Just want to say happy birthday." Those will always be your biggest supporters and people because they want to help. Yeah. I've met a lot of really good people through doing that. So again, you can just do things, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there to do those things. You can't just expect good things to happen to you. Like, you create your own luck. People always say I'm really lucky, mostly because I'm, at the casino, I just win a lot.
Wait, you go to the casino?
Oh, I love the casino. But people are like, "Oh, Zach, you're so lucky." Like, I always went on the slot machines, which is luck. You create your own luck. You put yourself in the rooms, good things will happen to you. You'll meet the right people. You'll find investors. You'll find building owners. Like, in anything in life, you put yourself in the right room. Again, as it pertains to finding a relationship, like, you're not going to find the love. You're probably not going to find the love of your life on Hinge. If you want to find someone that you love, go out and shake hands, meet people, go on dates, like, do things. You have to do things. And that goes for life, pursuit of happiness, business. The only way to be really good at something is to go out and do it yourself.
Yeah. There's a couple things that you mentioned there. Like, one is the older generation wanting to help the younger generation. It's a big reason why I even started this podcast, because I feel like there's a lot of young people out there that are looking for these types of opportunities and stories, but today's media doesn't have a lot of these real stories and this real information to consume. And when I started Junk Teens, I mean, the name Junk Teens, if you think about it, like, the reason why I named it that is because I realized the exact same thing, is that the older people were just wanting to go and support the younger generation that was trying to work hard and do something. And when you're young, if you really, like you said, put yourself out there, put yourself in
There's
these rooms,
endless opportunities if you just put yourself out there. Endless.
It's completely true. I like branded my whole company around that because I realized the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me to, like, pick up in these stories and tell them, because I mean, it gets me in some of those rooms too, but it's like, I just want younger people to see that. But you also mentioned when you're at these cafes, you don't drink coffee. I'm curious, how are you so locked in? If you don't drink coffee, like, what's your secret here? Do you do Adderall or anything?
Yeah, I'm on 80 milligrams of Vyvanse, so I have horrible ADHD, but it's my superpower. My brain is locked and loaded. There's a million moving parts.
I have ADHD too, but I've never took Adderall. How is ADHD your superpower?
Elon Musk said, like, people say, like, they want to be me, but you don't want to be me. You do not want to be inside my head, because you would, oh my God, it's nuts. There are a trillion different things happening up there at all times. And the way I can delegate it, it's just, I can't describe it. I just always know what needs to get done and just do it.
Do you think you could?
I'm really bad at folding laundry and doing my dishes. That's about it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, my apartment is spotless. Like, I love to host, love people over, like, all that. But those are the only two things I just forget. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do laundry.
So would you say that without Adderall, you would be able to do what you've done here?
No, for sure. It's just,
yeah.
I mean, I've been on it since I was in 7th grade, so it's like, it's not even.
Okay, so it's
been a part of me forever.
It's more of like a routine thing. It's not like you need it.
Correct.
To function.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because I've never took Adderall. Part of the reason is because I just don't want it to affect the way that I operate and rely on it.
For sure.
Like in a way, I rely on caffeine and coffee, not in like a unhealthy way, but like
I love Diet
everything.
Coke. Diet Coke's awesome.
Okay, that has a little bit of caffeine.
Yeah, not a ton, but yeah, I love it. Love Diet Coke.
When you work on this project, how does ADHD give you a lens or a way of
This whole project is ADHD. Every construction project is ADHD. That's literally like the definition of construction is
how
a
come?
million moving parts all at once. And
So
all
it's
happen to go together, but they all have a plan. They have a system. They have their time in the schedule. They have their time. That's what ADHD is you have a
okay.
million different moving parts, but they all fit into this one little block.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to figure out how to put those pieces together.
So you're able to jump between these very niche things all over the development project, but like tunnel vision from this part of it to that part, go all over the place
Yep,
and be locked in while jumping around.
correct.
Yeah, that makes sense because that's exactly how I am. It's like people say, "How did you graduate from college while doing this podcast, while running junk
It's like
teens?"
you figured out. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're so busy. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I hate when people complain. They're like, I'm busy. I'm like, okay, no,
Yeah.
I promise you, you're not that busy.
Yeah, so you said this project hasn't like made a lot of money yet, but how do you afford to even live life and survive if you're taking on this big of a project? How can you even afford life at
Yeah,
this point?
I mean, every month is literally a battle. The only reason that we're able to afford like our payroll of our team and our pursuit costs for other projects, things like that, is because some of these brand deals with social media. I mean, it's not like we're bringing in a lot of money, but it's
Okay.
enough to at least cover some of the overhead.
Hmm.
Mix that with 0% interest rate credit cards for 12 months, and you got yourself a project.
Wow. So is your social media all a part of the same company? It's not a separate business that you
It
see
is
it as?
technically a separate business, but I mean, not
But
really in a
but you pull
sense.
money from that to pay payroll?
Hell yeah, yeah, that pays payroll. That pays me. I mean, it's right now, technically speaking, Molzer Development, and then the media side and Zach Molzer. That is all the fucking same thing. It's all the same thing, pretty much
And
currently, and that
how
changes once our properties are done and they're cash flowing and bringing in revenue. Then it's different.
and how many employees do you have right now?
4.
Okay, so it's you and your 3 partners and then that one person on the media
So it's
or your
me,
2 partners.
Colin, Anna, and Rajan are on Molzer Development's team.
Okay. So that money basically pays for all of you guys. Okay.
Yeah,
And if you don't mind me asking, like, how much do you pay yourself as a salary right
0.
now? 0.
No, I haven't taken a salary since I started.
So then do you
I have enough
literally,
money to pay for my rent and my food.
and that's literally all,
I
like,
have less than $20,000 in my checking account right now, and our payroll
okay.
for next month is about 30.
Okay.
Hopefully, we get a brand deal.
Yeah. Wait, so like a standard brand deal, let's say you post an Instagram reel, like how much would a brand pay you for that?
Depends. So we 2 different structures. We could do like a rev share where maybe we're promoting like a product or a service, and we get X% of things like that.
Hmm.
We've done some brand deals where it's upwards of 5,000. Some that are like 10.
Hmm.
Others where it's again the rev share aspect. Some that I don't. I just want their product. Like huge shout out to Sesh. Sesh, I love you. Seshes, they're the best nicotine pouches in the world. Actually, they're amazing. I thought I would never switch from Zins. Sesh just sends me product. That's it. I don't want any money. I just
Okay.
want product, and I push it out to people, and
Yeah.
people love it because it is really good.
And like that one painting situation where they
Yeah,
painted the whole wall
yeah,
for
yeah, like
you,
things like
20
that. Like the
grand.
other ancillary ways of collaborations with people of not necessarily having it be true payment, but it's payment of goods or services is preferred because again, it's back to the delayed
Yeah.
gratification of better bottom line revenue.
Has your degree and your previous experience actually helped you make this thing possible? Or how has that led?
Indirectly, the relationships you make when you're in college and even post like working with other people and all of that have indirectly helped. But like I have a management degree now. Has that helped in the sense of my ability to manage and delegate people? 100%. But can I remember something from class that I learned that I was like, oh, that's why? No.
Yeah.
I still think people should go to college. I get why people aren't. It's expensive.
Mhm.
I don't think everything should be a 4-year degree. I think it just depends. Everyone's very, very different in
Are
terms of
are
what.
some of these people in these rooms you're going to, especially with the city, are they taking you serious because you have that college degree? Is that something they
I don't
ask
think
you
any
about?
of them know that. None of them
Okay.
care.
Do you
No,
think somebody could take on a project like this without that college degree?
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
So I'm really wondering, are there people that you've worked with that are crucial people to making this thing possible that wouldn't take you serious if you didn't have that college degree?
Not that I know of. No.
That is good to know. I talked with Rajan about this, but what is your opinion on college as a whole? Like a lot of people, especially with
I,
AI these.
I think it just depends on everyone. I think that the general aspect of going to college, I think it's a bit more about human interaction and the people that you can meet there as opposed to the classes and stuff. But again, everyone's different.
Yeah, I agree. The people is the most valuable thing for me. It's like there's this environment that's just completely not transactional, where you're meeting people and making genuine connections without any sort of external world
Exactly.
factors. And people don't estimate how good that is. But the other thing that I really think is everyone is in a different situation in life and is taking a different path, and college is expensive too. I don't think it makes sense for everyone,
Exactly. It's all
but
a case by case. So I don't like
yeah.
putting it under one umbrella of like, hey, don't go to college, go
Yeah.
to college. Like it just depends.
And did you find your partners at college or
No, I found them through Twitter.
oh yeah, you said Twitter. Wow. And like how did you even like know on Twitter that these guys were
They
gonna
were,
be
they were just
legit?
posting similar to me, and we just
Okay.
just started talking, and then
What kind of stuff were you posting on there?
Twitter's by far the best platform. Not even close, hands
Mhm.
down, by far the best.
And why is that?
The people on Twitter are more high quality than any other platform. It's
Yeah.
not a bunch of 21-year-olds that are trying to get rich quick. It's people actually doing things.
So for networking in our generation, you would say Twitter is the place to
Twitter
go.
changed my life. Twitter will make
Okay.
me hundreds of millions of dollars in my life.
Wow. And what's an example of that? How it
The,
will?
my business partners that I met on there, some of my mentors, my best friends, the relationships, the rooms that I'm in. Like I just got back from a gala in New York City. It's crazy. You have to follow me on Twitter. Twitter's the best platform.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. Do you post on Twitter actively today throughout all of this other stuff you're
I probably
posting?
rip 5 to 10 tweets a day.
Oh wow.
When I have a thought or something, most people
Yeah.
write it down.
Yeah.
I write it down. It's just on Twitter.
Okay, and you just post it. And you don't care what people think or anything
I
like that.
do not give a flying fuck. No.
So
I
what
actually like poking the bear. And people will comment, I'll be like, you should cry more. Like I will on Twitter, I'm
yeah.
very raw. I'm just like,
What's your secret to not caring what people think?
why does it matter? Like why does it matter? Why do their opinions matter?
Do you think your
I'm
whole
comfortable in my own skin. Godspeed. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm building.
yeah.
There's gonna be haters. If you have haters, that means you're doing something right.
Do you think that your whole life you felt that way, that you just didn't care what people think and you're authentically yourself?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been through the ebbs and flows of life and been super myself at times, but other times just been going through stuff where it's harder.
Yeah.
But do you think there is something that would help people find themselves and authentically be themselves and not care about what other people think?
I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask for that because
Okay.
I haven't had to deal with that.
Another question about your goals. Like we know where you want to be in the next 5 years. You see this being a billion-dollar company at a certain point, right?
At some point, yeah, that's Mole's development. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're doing along the side too, different side projects, other ancillary things. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, we're just trying to make the world a better place. And we're starting in Kansas City. I think we'll eventually start expanding outside of Kansas City. But for now, we've got a lot to build here.
And do you know what your company is evaluated at right now, or the assets?
Zero.
Zero?
we don't have any buildings done yet.
And at what point do you think that you'll have something to stand on where you have that value
October.
in October, as soon as this thing is done?
October-ish would be my guess.
Okay. Knowing all of that and how far you've come already, I'm curious if you have any advice for the younger version of yourself before you got into this.
Don't follow your dreams. Don't follow your passion. Find out what you're good at. Get really good at it, and you will become passionate about it. That's my advice for the younger generation.
How can someone find what they're good at?
What you're good at is not necessarily the macro thing. Like I'm not necessarily good at development. I am, but like that's not what it is. I'm good at problem solving. I'm good with people. I'm good at raising money, which again goes back to the people thing. I am good visionary, a good planner, and a very good delegator. And I attract talent. Those are what I'm good at. Now, with that information, go find the vehicle in which you can use those skills to provide the lifestyle that you want and the happiness that you want. For me, the tool that aligned just happened to be development. I didn't know that going into college. I had no clue. Even when I was working down with the old firm down in Tulsa, I didn't know exactly like it was development. We were doing projects, yes, but you got to find out what you're good. There was parts of the job that I was doing down there that I didn't like, and that I wasn't passionate about, and that I wasn't as good at. And so you weed those things out, and you find out what you're good at. Then you take the micro to then find the macro.
So you really just have to do things and just
Mess up,
do.
100%. Yeah, just do things.
And that's how you'll really find out what you're good at. It's not just gonna come.
No, it's in everyone. Everyone's got something they're good at.
Everybody is somebody. Everybody has some sort of God-given gift and a skill of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying people should follow, not just their passion, but
Correct.
what they're truly best at.
Yeah, because then you'll become passionate about it because you'll get
That's
reward, you'll get recognition, you'll get praise, and you'll feel good. You'll have self-worth. That's when it really gets fun.
That's really simple but deep and true at the same time.
Correct.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
No, thank
This was
you.
an
This was
amazing
awesome. I
interview.
really appreciate you guys coming out here and excited to keep building.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to leave off for the camera or?
No, you guys want to continue following along my journey? It's just Molzer
Yeah.
Development on Instagram, at Molzer on Twitter, X, and then we're just we're gonna keep building our city and reach out if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, and just a phone call away.